Yeah, look, I'm a native-born New Yorker, as you know, so I was sort of born blunt, you know. It is just the way of the place. And on the facts, you can reopen, you can increase activity without increasing virus spread. Be smart. You know, I talk about the masks, and I'll talk about the masks until I am blue in my face because they work. They work. It is still inconceivable to me that the frontline workers have a lower infection rate than the general population. The nurses and doctors who were in an emergency room have a lower infection rate than the general population. The transit workers driving the subways have a lower infection rate than the general population. The police have a lower infection rate than the general population because they use the PPE. It works. Why you wouldn't use it? There's no legitimate, rational explanation. Well, I don't like the way it looks. You know what? Paint something on the mask, right? Get a new color. You know, you can get a designer mask. It's such the opposition is so trivial and nonsensical relative to the risk. You could get sick. You could make somebody else sick. Even if you think you're a Superman or Superwoman, you could bring the virus home and get someone sick and it winds up killing them. So it's not smart. It's not smart. My colleague, Melissa DeRosa, said yesterday, it was stupid. That's another way of saying not smart. Sort of the hyper New York way of saying that. Takes less words. But yeah, so
that more people are ignoring or declining to wear a mask and ignoring social distancing because they see the numbers go down and they just think, oh, okay, it's all better now.
Yeah, the number goes down until you go out and don't do the PPE and don't do the mask, and then the number will go up. And who's going to determine what happens to the number? The person in the mirror determines that number. You tell me what people do today, I'll tell you what the infection rate is 3, 4, 5 days from now. And if they're not smart, the number will go up, and then we'll have to slow down the reopening, which is what you're seeing all across the country, by the way. Our number's going down. The rest of the country, the number's going up. Why? Because they never took it seriously. Reopen too fast, reopen without monitoring, reopening without controls, the number goes up. And they haven't even looked at the history on this. I know history isn't cool anymore. I like to talk about history, and some people point out that, you know, nobody really cares what happened 100 years ago. I get that. But sometimes you pick up a little hint. We had the 1918 pandemic. You look at the places that didn't close, they had a much higher infection rate. And then it comes back in a second wave. So it's not smart. It defies history, defies everything we know, defies common sense.